Today, Friday, in the ICJ, Israel had the audacity to try to defend themselves against the charge of genocide by spewing the same debunked, hollow talking points that they always do. Because they've never had to actually defend themselves. And even now, their real defense is being carried out by the U.S. and U.K. airstrikes in Yemen. They're insulting the intelligence of the court. They're insulting the intelligence of the whole planet. But again, that's because the power of the United States used to be able to force the whole planet to play dumb. You know, Israel was like that horrible, untalented sidekick of the neighborhood mafioso who everyone had to pretend was charming and brilliant. But again, those days are over. And those days being over is explicitly clear both by the fact that the ICJ hearings are taking place and by the fact that the US and the UK are attacking Yemen to try to change the narrative and try to distract from having the genocide in Gaza indicted. Because like I've said before, the genocide in Gaza is nothing but an American genocide. Israel is nothing but a Western colonialist project, a violent American intrusion into the region. Zionism is just a rebranding of Western imperialism, and that's why it's being enforced and defended by attacking Yemen, because it's all about domination and control of the whole region. The Zionists are just the Jewish regiment of the imperialist army, nothing more. But everybody knows that this isn't going to work in the 21st century. Everybody knows, except for the neocons in Washington and the delusional fanatics in Tel Aviv. Everyone knows that this is not what the future looks like. Global business knows that this is not what the future looks like. And I don't think that they're going to let the United States keep splattering their violent stupidity across the region. No, the center of gravity is moving from the West to the global South, and it's moving from the uncivilized world to the civilized world. And there's a lot more money to be made by harmonious, cooperative, integrated global relations than by the old model of domination and subjugation and bloodshed. You see, the war economy of the United States, the so-called military-industrial complex, as the main management strategy and the driver of the domestic economy, that being allowed was dependent on the fact that the domestic economy of the United States, domestic prosperity in the United States, was important to the owners and controllers of global financialized capital. Back in the day, when companies and the financial elites were bound by national borders and subordinate to the state. That's not the case anymore. So that system, that war-driven economic model, has become a liability. But American politicians are notoriously slow on the uptake. Politicians in Washington are like a cartoon character who runs off a cliff and just floats there suspended for a second, realizing too late that there's no earth beneath his feet. And then they'll go plummeting down into oblivion. They've run out of road. They just don't know it yet. But meanwhile, the rest of the planet is already moving at pace down a highway that nobody in Washington ever even realized had been built. Oh yes, this is a victory. And Muslims need to make tasbih, they need to make tawbah, they need to make istighfar like never before, because we are living through the liberation of our lands, the liberation of our people. And we need to be glad and we need to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.